Good Morning Miramar, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. right here, right now.
Good morning, Miramar. My name is Danielle Alice, Marketing Coordinator with the City of Miramar's Office of Marketing and Public Relations. Today is Thursday, March the 15th. Today we have a wonderful show planned for all of you. We'll first be joined by Captain Orlando Seguerra with the Miramar Fire Department, who's here today to tell us all about an important community event, Rachel's Challenge. Then we will be joined by our Assistant City Manager and City Spokesperson, Natasha Hampton, today's Women's History Month Spotlight. Be sure to comment on our live stream on Facebook or dial into our program by calling us at 1-877-2-MIRAMAR. That's 1-877-264-7262. We'll take all of your questions live on the air. Now, please remember, the weather for today, Thursday, March 15th, is going to bring some sunny skies. It's a beautiful day today here in South Florida. The high temperature is 74 degrees and the low will be 56. As a reminder, the United Neighbors of East Miramar are meeting tonight at 7 p.m. at the Miramar Multi-Service Complex located at 6700 Miramar Parkway. Be sure to bring your neighbors. For more information on this, you can call Mary Rayner at 954-270-2770. MCC resident artist Ballet Etudes of South Florida will be hosting a ballet technique masterclass for intermediate and advanced dancers ages 12 and up of all dance backgrounds to gain a better understanding of ballet as the foundation of all dance. This masterclass is taking place Saturday, March 17th, that's this week, at 10 a.m. at the Miramar Cultural Center. For ticket information, you can visit MiramarCulturalCenter.org. As a reminder, City of Miramar, Mayor Wayne Messam, alongside Memorial Hospital Miramar and Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital, is hosting a free 3K run walk, health fair, yoga, and family fun day on Saturday, March 17th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. This event is featuring health screenings, a kids fun zone, and so much more. For information, you can call 954-602-3198. Join us for game night and party and play on the plaza. This event is taking place Friday, March 23rd from 7 to 11 p.m. at the Miramar Town Center Plaza. This event will feature live music from the Mojo Scoundrels, dancing, a domino tournament, card games, retro video games, food trucks, and a cash bar. This event is free to the public, but please be advised that the domino tournament entry is a $5 fee. You can register today at partyandplaygamenight.eventbrite.com. And if you'd like information or you have any questions, you can call 954-602-3178. Join us for the City of Miramar's Summer Camp Kickoff and Annual Open House. It's happening next Saturday, March the 24th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Come out and see what the City of Miramar will be offering at this year's summer camps. There will be free food as well as beverages and fun activities for the children. And if you register between March 24th and April 7th for your children to attend Miramar summer camps, you'll actually receive a $100 camp discount. You can register at any of our Parks and Recreation Centers. We have our Anson Sports Complex, our Sunset Lakes Community Center, Vizcaya Park, or the Vernon E. Hargray Youth Enrichment Center. So all of those centers will be open from 9 to 3 for you to register your children. For more information, please visit MiramarFL.gov. Now on Tuesday, March 27th and Wednesday, March 28th, the City of Miramar's Public Works, Utilities, and Parks and Recreation departments are actually going to invite all of you, our residents, to a special informational meeting where we'll be discussing and addressing questions, concerns, or comments that residents might have regarding city operations, which include traffic control, water treatment, street and sidewalk maintenance, recycling, parks and recreation activities, and so much more. This forum will also provide an opportunity for city staff to share details on city programs and updates on current and planned capital improvement projects. The first of these meetings will take place at the Sunset Lakes Community Center Ballroom. That's located at 2801 Southwest 186th Avenue on Tuesday, March 27th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. The second meeting will take place Wednesday, March 28th at the Miramar Multi-Service Complex Ballroom, located at 6700 Miramar Parkway from 6:30 to 8 p.m. We hope to see you there. Join us March 29th for our brand new Fire Station 107 open house. That's located at 11811 Miramar Parkway. This open house will feature tours of our brand new fire station, and staff will also be on hand to give our public information about fire safety. For more information on this, you can please visit MiramarFL.gov. Save the date for Miramar Day. Come out and celebrate our city's birthday with an international tour. This event is happening on Saturday, May 19th from 5 to 10 p.m. at the Miramar Amp at Miramar Regional Park, 16801 Miramar Parkway. There's going to be a fun concert, cultural festivities, a kids fun zone, an international marketplace, and so much more. Now, as this month is Women's History Month, we are giving our weekly spotlight into women's history. Today's spotlight is on Sojourner Truth. Sojourner Truth was a prominent abolitionist and women's rights activist. Born a slave in New York State, she had at least 3 of her children sold away from her. After escaping slavery, Sojourner Truth embraced evangelical religion, and she actually became involved in moral reform and abolitionist work. She then collected supplies for black regiments during the Civil War, and she also immersed herself in advocating for freed people during the Reconstruction period. Truth was a powerful and impassioned speaker whose legacy of feminism and racial equality still resonates today. She perhaps is best known for stirring Ain't I a Woman speech delivered at a women's convention in Ohio in 1851. So that is today's Spotlight in Women's History. We hope you enjoyed that. Now, without further ado, I would like to reintroduce our first guest. This is Captain Orlando Seguerra with our Miramar Fire Department.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here this morning. We're so happy to have you on the show. Now, before we get into what we actually have you here talking about today, which is Rachel's Challenge, I'd like for you to just tell us a little bit about yourself and your role with our Miramar Fire Department.
Sure, yes. I've been Miramar Fire Department for 19 years.
Okay.
I'm in the training department. I'm the training captain. I've been in that position for 5 years already. I've been involved in a lot of committees, and I'm very involved with our community, especially.
Yes. Now, you are so passionate about our community, and there's so many things going on. Now, there is a really amazing community event happening called Rachel's Challenge. What is Rachel's Challenge? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Rachel's Challenge is, last year we were looking for an organization that will help us on bullying and mental illness in the fire department. And we came across the Rachel's Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
They're based in Colorado, and when I read their history and their bio, Rachel was the first girl killed in Columbine High.
Mm-hmm.
And she had a beautiful history, a beautiful story, in that she kept a diary, and she always fought against bullying in the school.
Mm-hmm.
Her parents continued with that, with her dream. It became a very national organization, and we were able to bring him to Miramar.
Yes, that's wonderful. Now, Rachel has such an amazing story, and as you mentioned, she was such an advocate against change for bullying. So give us the details about this event. What is the goal with Rachel's Challenge? When is it? Tell us a little bit about that.
The goal is actually to take the stigma away.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about bullying for kids, but in reality, there is bullying in any age,
mm-hmm.
on any professions, any career.
Yeah.
So I think we needed to touch that. HR is giving us beautiful training on harassment at this time,
mm-hmm.
and it's a miracle how everything falls in place.
Yeah.
And so we were able to bring that, and due to the hurricane last year, we had to cancel it, and we had to postpone it now for April. So we're going to have it on April the 18th and 19th. On the 18th, they gave us an event at 6 o'clock at City Hall.
Mm-hmm.
With my PIO, we've been going to the high schools, and we're getting kids involved also. It doesn't matter what age, but we're really hitting every geographic of every age to be involved in this challenge that we're bringing in.
Definitely, and it's so important that you mentioned that bullying can happen at any age. It doesn't
Yes.
matter if you're, in your primary and secondary schooling, or if you're an adult in the workplace, bullying, harassment, unfortunately across the board is an issue. So adults and children alike can benefit from this. Is there an age minimum, or is it open to the whole family?
It's open to the whole family. It's
Okay.
open. We're going to, on the morning sections, we're going to be inviting other departments. We're also inviting other councils, city, different communities, and with the PIO's help, we are broadcasting it everywhere. So it's really going to be, I hope we do have a good turnout.
A good turnout. Now, is there a fee for this event? Tell us a little bit about it. 'Cause it's a 2-day. So
it's a 2-day, and the 2 days event that we're having in the fire department, it's going to be more of a class section.
okay.
So there is a fee. The
Okay.
fee is $75. Everything is for the organization of her name. So it really is going to be more of a class. We do have another speaker involved in the morning, but it focused on Rachel Challenge. Her uncle will be the speaker.
Okay.
We are going to have the uncle come in, and so it's going to be more of a classroom section, 4 hours in the morning, afternoon, and then at night, on the 18th, they gave us that section free for our community.
That's wonderful. So that's, and you know, it's so important, especially now and I talk about this a lot on the show, the day and age of social media, where people unfortunately can hide behind a screen and say whatever they want. And there are so many, especially our young children and our youth, being affected by what's being said on social media, you know, about them or to their friends. And it's a form of bullying that is really hard to combat. So it's so important that we're having this. And you mentioned that the proceeds for the registration actually goes back to the organization.
Yes, they do. Let me just touch on that. Even social media is affecting adults. We've lost in Arizona a female firefighter because she was bullied in Facebook.
Oh, wow.
So,
wow, this is so important.
yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely important. So we're definitely encouraging everyone to come out
Yes.
in our community, whether you're an adult, whether you are parents, single. This is a great event, and it's a really great way to support an amazing cause, Rachel's Challenge, who is really, you know, a national advocate against bullying and all of that. So thank you so much. Now, you mentioned the details a little bit. So the event is the 18th and the 19th. The 19th will be an evening component, and the 18th will be the day-long workshop.
You're going to have the 18th, it's the 18th and 19th, you're going to have workshops from the morning and afternoon section. The 18th is where you're going to have the afternoons from 6 to 7. It's going to be at City Hall, and that's where the high schools are going to be coming in, and that's when it's open to the public.
Okay, so that portion is free.
Yes,
so if they,
that portion
you know,
is free.
If maybe the 75 is out of the price range for
They-
them to come, they can definitely partake in the 18th
Yes.
evening portion. That's from 6 to 7.
Yes, and that will be more of a not a classroom section. It was more of him speaking on the causes and hit the main topics for that audience that's going to be
Definitely.
here.
Community awareness, and awareness is so important as well, because, you know, like we said, even if the $75 might be out of your price range, or, you know, you're unable to make it both days, if you can come for an hour,
Yes.
just take a little bit of time to be aware of that situation, you can come out and really, you know, make a difference and learn something new to share with those around you.
You'll take something special.
Definitely. Now, signing up. If people have questions and they'd like to sign up, where should they go?
Right now we have it in our website, in our fire department website. They can go into MiramarFL.gov, and they can, we have it there. Our PIO has set it up that they can register, put their name, and the date that they want to attend.
Perfect. And now both days have the same sessions
Yes, ma'am.
happening.
Yes.
Oh, that's even
Yes.
better. So
Yes.
we're
So it's
making it
easy.
available for
Yes.
more people.
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. So if you can't go the 18th, you can go the 19th and vice versa.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
wonderful. So remember, that is MiramarFD.org.
Yes, ma'am.
And there's a tab where you can click on, you know, community events.
Correct.
And you can just check it out there and look up Rachel's Challenge, and it gives a lot more information on who Rachel was, her mission, and, you know, what the event is going to provide to you and your family. Perfect.
Thank you.
Now, did we miss anything before?
No, I
before
think
we
I
let you
think we
go?
hit everything. It's a special. We worked hard for this. We're very committed to the community. Our chief is 100% aboard this. He supports us, and we're going to be the first fire department hosting this.
Oh wow, the first fire department
in Florida.
In Florida.
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
we're proud of that.
Yes, and we're so proud of everything that the Miramar Fire Department does for our community. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you here today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, we are going to take a quick commercial break, but when we return, we will be speaking with Assistant City Manager and City Spokesperson Natasha Hampton, who is our Women's History Month spotlight for today, to tell us a little bit about her story and how she continues to empower women throughout her community. So stay tuned.
I'm Miramar Mayor Wayne Messam, and I am personally inviting you to the Mayor's 3K Walk, Run, Health, and Yoga Fair sponsored by Memorial Healthcare System, Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital, Calvary Fellowship in Miramar, Aetna, Miami Dolphins, and Waste Pro. Come on out for a low-impact 3K Walk or Run Saturday, March 17th at 8 a.m., followed by the Health Fair and Yoga sessions. We'll have a kids zone, free health screenings, and yoga classes. I would like to see you there getting fit.
It's time to party and play on the Plaza at Miramar Town Center Plaza. Friday, March 23rd from 7 till 11 p.m. There will be dancing and live music by the Mojo Scoundrels. A dominoes tournament with prizes. Card games like spades, bid whist and talk, as well as retro video games. Space is limited. To register, please visit Party and Play at GameNight.eventbrite, spelled BRITE.com. There will be food and drinks for sale. That's Friday, March 23rd from 7 till 11 p.m. at Miramar Town Center Plaza.
America's Got Talent favorite Sons of Serendip comes to Miramar.
I won't cry for yesterday. There's an ordinary world somehow I have to find. And as I try to make my way to
April 13th at 8 p.m. Experience Sons of Serendip. For tickets, call 954-602-4500.
Good morning, Miramar, and welcome back. We are so excited to have you all, and thank you for those of you who remain tuned in. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce our Assistant City Manager and City Spokesperson, Natasha Hampton, who's here today.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
We're doing a great spotlight on you and just the impact that you've had here serving our community for 20 plus years, which is amazing. So thank you so much for that. Before we get into kind of the nitty gritty of the interview, I wanted to just have you tell us a little bit about yourself and your current role here with the City of Miramar.
So a little bit about myself. I grew up in Liberty City in South Florida. And I'm always really proud to say that, because growing up, or basically now as an adult, you hear a lot of things, negative things about Liberty City and inner cities, communities in inner cities. And so, there are fabulous, amazing, life-changing activists and just people in our communities that grew up where I grew up. And so I think that it's really important that as often as we can to celebrate, where we come from, because oftentimes our stories are told by others. And so it's really important that we have platforms to tell our stories. So I'm incredibly proud to say that I was born and raised in Liberty City, and went to Liberty City Elementary School and graduated ultimately from Miami Central Senior High School. My parents are still in Miami, so I get to go there often. Class of 1989. So yeah, that's pretty much my background and my story.
Your background. So you mentioned, growing up in an inner city area in Miami where, some people might be a little bit afraid to say, oh, I come from there, or maybe might not be proud from coming from that area. Tell us a little bit about how growing up there shaped you and kind of, the person that you are today.
Yeah, it's funny. This was like a village, and I think that most persons my age that grew up in inner cities would say the same, that it was a village, and that you just didn't have your parents to answer to. You had your neighbor to answer to, you had your grandparents to answer to, you had your family's friends to answer to. So it really was like a village that helped shape and mold kids coming out of there. And it was also a time when your passions were groomed, even when you didn't realize what your passions were. They were groomed, they were accepted, they were cultivated, and it was really an amazing time. It was just free form, I felt. I remember attending Liberty City Elementary School, and we had what they called Field Day. And it was just an amazing, I still remember that, like as a little kid. There's not much I remember from that age, but that I remember, and what the school system, that public school system did for me and my creativity and nurturing that creativity, which allows me to be able to sit here with you today and express my story and express my successes, because that school system and my neighboring communities and the people who grew up there helped me to nurture that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, you talked about the village that raised you, a community of people, not just your parents, but, your neighbors, grandparents, people who kind of shaped you and influenced you. Tell us about maybe a person who was very influential in your life or your inspiration. Why?
My incredibly gracious and elegant mom. She definitely did. And I don't know if she knows that. I don't tell her often enough. But my mom, because my mom was a housewife. My mom showed me what it is to be a woman who's supportive of her family, a woman who takes responsibility. My mom raised 7 children with my dad, of course. When my dad was went to work and provided and took care of us. But my mom, she taught us values. She taught us, morals. She taught us what it meant to be strong, independent, but yet supportive of your significant other, and to be a real, role model for your children.
Definitely.
So
I've been reading a lot about how, kind of like a woman's role and how women edify their home, and really give that to their families. And it's so amazing how you talk about your mom in that way and how she provided that for you and your family. So you're one of 7.
One of 7.
Are you the oldest, in the middle?
I'm in the middle, so I got
the
to,
best part of the Oreo.
Yeah, well, that's what they say, right? Well, it is now. I can appreciate that now. I didn't think so then, because whatever, we were a family with a single household income,
Yeah.
you know. And so whatever my sister, so there's four, the first four, we're all kind of 11 months apart.
Oh.
So when one turns, one year, we're together for that birthday, and then the next will turn and they're together. So that kind of added to the if she did, when she was out of her shoes, when my sister was out of her shoes, then they came to me.
So you had to
so they got passed down, right? So yeah, that's kind of how we grew up. And my mom also instilled a very spiritual base. You know, she instilled that spirituality in us, and it grounds me. So I definitely want to give a shout out to my mom.
Yes.
Yeah, she's like everything.
Definitely, moms are the best. They are. Now, tell us a little bit about your career, because so you mentioned kind of your early growing up years. So tell us about high school, going into college, and how that shaped your career path.
Mm-hmm. Well, 2 months before I graduated high school, I became pregnant, and so that's not something that I was proud of. In fact, at the time, I was really embarrassed about that. And so I was, my trajectory was to start my freshman year in college, and then to go throughout that without telling anyone. And I actually accomplished that. I actually was able to complete my first semester at Florida Memorial University, college at the time, it's now university, and complete that first semester and do that without telling anyone that I was pregnant.
Oh, wow.
And so when I had my son, that was life-changing, and it turned a lot of things around, put some things on halt, like my education, because now I'm a mom, and now I have to provide. And so it turned some things around. But, I tell you, I go back to my mom and that spirituality and that base that she gave me, because that allowed me to keep my faith, to keep my faith strong, because there are a lot of obstacles, to overcome as a teen mom, and statistically, you're not supposed to make it. That's what they tell you, right?
What they say.
Okay, growing up in inner city, teen pregnancy, you're not supposed to make it. But my mom's, spiritual base kept my faith strong, and God kept me, and He kept me on track. So, yeah, that's kind of from high school to college. So I actually didn't go back to finish my undergraduate degree until I became an employee with the City of Miramar. So I really took advantage of what this city offers in terms of training and development for its employees. And I took advantage of that. And I actually was able to finish my education at Florida Memorial University. I chose that HBCU, finished there, and then ultimately finish up my master's at Nova Southeastern University. All right here in the city of Miramar.
All right here in Miramar.
Yeah.
Wow, and that's an incredible part of your story. I didn't know that. So that's, and like you mentioned, it's people say, you're not supposed to make it statistically. It wasn't supposed to happen for you, but it did, and you're at the place where you are now. So when you started for the City of Miramar, what was your role in that?
I started as an administrative clerk 1, which the classification structure, that position starts the pay structure.
Oh, wow.
So it was actually a grade 6, which is the grade. But I was sitting in my house and I was looking at the Access channel, City of Miramar, Miramar TV, channel 78.
Yes.
Comcast. So I was actually watching the Access channel, and I saw this position come up, and so I'm like, hey, what do I have to do? I'm not working. I need to work. So I applied, and thank God for Linda Tyson, who's no longer with us. She was a City of Miramar employee, but she called me, and I never ran so fast to a payphone. Yes, it was payphones and beepers. That's 1997 is when I got that. So you should see how the people in this studio are looking at me. Payphones and beepers. So I ran, and that's how I actually started my career. She called, hey, we'd like to interview you. And I started my career as an administrative clerk 1. And throughout the years, have held several positions in the city, recently Director of Human Resources, Chief of Marketing and Public Relations, and now this appointment to Assistant City Manager. But I actually started in Public Works and Utilities.
Oh, that's amazing. Wow. And, for those of you who aren't maybe familiar with kind of how governmental structure works, Assistant City Manager would be the corporate equivalent of a vice president of a corporation, and correct me if I'm wrong. So that's a big deal, and it's so amazing, to see somebody who not only is serving their community for the duration that you've really served the city of Miramar, but was able to work, go to school, prove themselves throughout their career to be at the appointment where you are today, all while being a mom to a young kid. Yeah. So that's an amazing accomplishment. Now, tell us a little bit about a pivotal role maybe in your life, in your career as a woman, kind of how that kind of shaped you moving forward to the person you are today.
Yeah, definitely the first would be the pregnancy, the first pregnancy. It to go 9 months without telling anyone that I was pregnant, and without having any prenatal care, any doctor. I mean, I told no one. Coming out of that, and my son being healthy today, and not having no complications, that was a pivotal moment for me, because it told me that if I could survive that, I could survive anything, and that absolutely nothing that's given to me, I can't accomplish that. Like I can accomplish anything, because that showed me just the amount of resiliency that God placed in women. That we have as women. We're so strong. We're so we're just outstanding in terms of what we're able to endure and what we're able to achieve, despite whatever it is that's happening in our lives. We're able to do it, and still come out looking like so fresh and so clean, right? Like brush off the shoulder, right? We just fly like that. And I'm really, really, I like to share that story, because I want women to know that it doesn't matter what you're going through. You can come out of that, and you can still achieve. So that was definitely one pivotal moment. The other pivotal moment was when I became was appointed to Director of Human Resources, because that's not my background. So I definitely didn't know how I was going to do that and succeed, because I knew that it was important for me to do so. And being appointed Director of Human Resources, I was in my third semester of my PhD program. And so I knew that I didn't feel, at least, that I wouldn't be successful as an HR director and then, try to complete my PhD. So I stopped my PhD program to focus, to put all my energy into really creating something different in human resources.
And the City of Miramar has grown so much, especially in regards to kind of what we're doing now with HR and marketing and public relations, and that definitely has so much to do with your legacy and what you've provided. So definitely thank you for that. And, even for myself and opportunities that you've given me as an employee here at the City of Miramar. So I personally want to thank you for that as well.
And let me just say that, Danielle, thank you for that. Thank you so much, because truthfully, if nothing else, I've always wanted my legacy to be where women like yourself can say that, you received an opportunity, or you had a door created for you because I was here. And it really doesn't matter, that your accomplishments, doesn't matter what your community awards you receive. It's really about the lives that you touch, and for me particularly, the lives of women that I touch. And if that's really what this platform is, and why I'm so grateful to have the platform, because I think it's really important that we create opportunities for each other and for others, so that, and then you can then create opportunities for someone else.
Definitely, it's all about paying it forward.
Absolutely.
The same way you talked about Linda, who did it for you, and you doing it for the next generation, and then myself, so on and so forth. Now, before we close, I just want to get a little bit from you. What does women's history mean to you?
Women's history means actually it's twofold for me. It's recognizing and appreciating my elders and all that they have had to endure for me to be here, to be here and to share this story, because I know that our history was such that women were forbidden and even punished for speaking. And so for women that have paved the way, that have opened doors, that have cracked glass ceilings, that have broken glass ceilings, I am eternally grateful for my elders, for my women elders. And for the women who are creating her story, for women like me, for women like you, women's history has to be women's her story. Because we have to tell our stories, and we have to tell them in the strength and the brilliance in which they deserve to be told.
Yes.
So that is what Women's Her Story Month means to me.
Yes, and I love that, her story. That's awesome. Not him, her. Definitely. Now, and finally, before we close, what advice would you give to women out there who are looking to make a similar impact on their communities or people around them, women specifically, the same way you have?
To stay in service, and never do it because you want the accolade, and never do it because you're looking for recognition, but to be in service to others. That's really what I believe our purpose is. Be in service. Get involved. Get involved, because what affects one affects us all, and just stay in service. Because that is what I did. That's how I started, my career, when I didn't know that it was a career. I've always just wanted to be in service, and that served me well through my 20-plus year career. I'm still in service, and when you stay in service, you're always learning, you're always growing, you're always inventing, you're always, developing, because you're in service, and service is evolving. The evolution of service is continuous. And so that's what keeps you young looking, even after 20 years.
Yes.
I ain't telling nobody I started at 10.
I know, right? You guys, she's also a prodigy. In case you didn't know.
But stay in service, and that's what'll keep you going. It'll sustain you.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for being here
Thank
today.
you.
And I loved hearing this part of your story. I love asking people questions like these, because it really gives you a good insight on them and kind of where they've been and where they're going. So we're so proud
Thank you.
of you and all of your accomplishments.
Thank you, Danielle. Thank you so much for having me this morning.
Absolutely.
And spotlighting. Thank you.
Now, as a reminder, this is Women's History Month, so we're encouraging all the ladies out there to really go and make her story and make a difference in their communities. Now, remember, we are live with Good Morning Miramar every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. We are closing today, but be sure to keep up with us on social media at City of Miramar on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We would love to connect with you. Wishing you all a wonderful day, and remember, it's right here in Miramar. Bye-bye.